Hi, welcome to Pathway to Health Now, where we provide tips on reclaiming your health so that you feel energized and vibrant. We specialize in helping people with chronic disease restore their health. My name is Polly Baltus. I'm a nurse practitioner, family nurse practitioner, who's been in healthcare for over 30 years. I have served countless people with chronic disease and specialize in helping people break free from type 2 diabetes. In this video, we're going to be talking about root causes of diabetes. Stick with me. There's a lot more to what causes diabetes than most people know. So, when you think of diabetes, most of the time people think, well, my family's got it, so it's inevitable that I'm going to get diabetes. But this is not true. Just because your parents, your grandparents, siblings, whoever it is in your family that has diabetes, doesn't mean that you're meant to get it. There are several root causes that will determine if your gene switch turns on or stays off for diabetes. Let's keep that gene switch turned off. So, if it's not your genetics determining if you get diabetes, then what actually does cause type 2 diabetes? There are so many things. The way we live, what toxins we're exposed to, the foods we eat, the poor sleep we tend to get, and the stress that we have in our lives, they all play a key role in keeping your genes healthy and keeping type 2 diabetes out of your lives. Inflammation is one of those things that is key to the development of diabetes. Inflammation is a normal response from our immune system to keep the body healthy, but in an environment with too much sugar, inflammation is out of control. High blood sugar causes oxidative stress, which damages your cells, and when your cells aren't healthy, you're not healthy. Where there is oxidative stress, inflammation begins and escalates cellular and tissue damage. We know high blood sugar causes inflammation in the body, which creates a vicious cycle where blood sugar then continues to increase because of this underlying inflammation. Inflammation does play a key role in type 2 diabetes. For many years, scientists have been looking at the role of pancreatic beta cell function in diabetes, as well as other factors that play a part, like obesity and your physical activity and genetics and your age. But what's emerging is the role of inflammation. It's just become so evident that it's part of the development of type 2 diabetes. Even insulin resistance, which is at the beginning stages of why we have diabetes, it's actually the foundation, it's linked back to cellular inflammation. So, targeting inflammation could help to prevent and manage and reverse the disease. Inflammation isn't just related to high blood sugar either. Many type 2 diabetics have nutritional deficiencies like magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin C, and B12. So, inflammation also plays a key role in these nutrient deficiencies. Obesity associated metabolic syndrome are common factors for type 2 diabetes as well. This also raises the inflammation in the body. Inflammation affects all body systems. It damages cellular function. So inflammation is a key role in diabetes, and we need to address that to get diabetes to be managed and to get it reversed. We talked a little bit about inflammation and obesity is often associated with type 2 diabetes. It isn't just simply an issue of being overweight. It used to be thought that fat cells were just thought to store energy, store excess calories. But now we know adipocytes or fat cells, they are a metabolically active organ. It's not just fat around your arms or your belly or your leg. This is actually an endocrine organ that is metabolically active. The more adipocytes you have, the larger the organ and the larger the disruption that it causes. Fat cells create their own endocrine system that disrupts your body's normal hormonal balances. And when your hormones are off, you don't have energy. Oftentimes, you've got mental fog, you're not sleeping well. There's a whole myriad of symptoms that go along with hormonal imbalances. And fat cells affect all the hormones. For example, estrogen levels increase in the presence of excess belly fat. Fat cells are linked to insulin resistance. They play a key role because they actually work in releasing glucocorticoids. Glucocorticoids in your body increase your blood sugar. It's like taking prednisone that your doctor gives you for some inflammatory condition. That raises your blood sugar, and it's the same thing with the glucocorticoids. It's exactly what they're doing. Fat cells are especially around the abdomen are a major source of inflammation for type 2 diabetes. These fat cells produce inflammatory substances, different cytokines and different inflammatory pathways that trigger a local and a systemic chronic low-grade inflammation in your body. Obesity is now viewed as a state of systematic chronic low-grade inflammation. So it's more than being overweight. It has been recognized that larger waist circumferences have a strong impact on insulin resistance. Because obesity forms its own endocrine system, it not only plays a key role in type 2 diabetes, but in heart disease, in cancer, and so many more chronic diseases. It just strips the quality of life away. So we know that inflammation, we know that obesity all play a role in the development of type 2 diabetes. Toxins are another source of the development of type 2 diabetes. For one reason, toxins actually cause inflammation. So it goes back to that pathway. And the inflammation we're exposed to alters cellular functions. Toxins can include heavy metals, they can include BPA, and a myriad of different chemicals found in personal care products. Toxins are endocrine disrupting chemicals that alter your hormone balances. Again, we go back to the hormones. Everything in the body is interconnected. And when one system is having an issue, all systems are affected. So when we're talking about the hormone balance, it also includes reducing your insulin secretion, raising your blood sugar, and altering the gene expression. And remember, we talked about wanting to keep the diabetic gene switch turned off. So toxins, we're exposed to them in so many different areas, from the air we breathe to our skin, what we put on our skin, and what we eat and what we drink. For example, processed foods exposes you to countless chemicals and toxins. Even the food packaging itself can be toxic. Tomatoes, if you buy canned tomatoes, you want to try to buy them in glass jars because the acidity in the tomatoes works with the can and releases toxins into that food product. So it's all over, and there's so many things that we can do to limit our exposure to toxins. A common toxin that we have in our daily life is BPA and its replacement, BPS. So these are found in plastics, in food cans, in receipt paper. And what they do is they actually mimic estrogen, and it disrupts the body hormonal system. So when estrogen is off, then it affects other hormones. So it's an integrated process that it's not just about what we eat. It's not just about our genes with diabetes. It's about all these other root causes that we can modify to keep that diabetic type 2 switch on that gene off. According to the CDC, people who smoke are actually 40% more likely to develop type 2 diabetes than those who don't. Again, a lot of toxins in cigarettes, among the other myriad of health diseases that cigarettes cause. Stress is ever present in our life. And let's face it, if we didn't have stress, we would be dead. But we need to manage our stress. Stress is very much linked to type 2 diabetes. When your body senses physical, emotional, mental, spiritual stress, what happens is there's numerous biochemical processes and hormonal changes that occur to help you survive. The problem is that your body doesn't know the difference between a life-threatening stressor or a benign one. So your body's biochemical and hormonal responses to daily stressors are the same as if your life is actually being threatened. Your body doesn't know the difference between being late to work or stressing about something that's not happened yet or just constant worry or being stuck in traffic. It doesn't know the difference between that and somebody actually or some situation actually threatening your life. So these chronic stressors eventually affect your hormone levels. They alter your immune system and even lead to impaired memory. And as you guessed it, it's linked to type 2 diabetes because everything in the body is interrelated. So, in real life, what does this look like? So, let's say someone jumps out and they scare you. Your body immediately responds with biochemical and hormonal changes. Your nervous system responds by releasing adrenaline. Adrenaline speeds up your heart and your muscles and your brain for action. Your pancreas releases glucagon to elevate blood sugar levels to prepare you for rapid action. Get out of there or fight if you need to. The vagus nerve, which innervates your gut, runs through your gut, tells the gut to slow down its digestion. And it takes some of the gut blood flow and diverts it to the muscles. And the reason it does this is because if you're fighting for your life, you don't need to be digesting food at that time. And your body needs that blood flow, extra blood flow to the muscles so that you can run or you can fight if you need to. So that's why it does this. And all of this happens instantaneously. So it's a great system to have, but if your body, since your body doesn't recognize common everyday stressors to life-threatening situations, it can really have a profound hormonal and biochemical effect on your body. Your sleep can be disrupted. You'll develop insulin resistance. You'll start to get digestive tract issues and food intolerances, and you'll have markers of inflammation in your body, and your immune function just is not going to function properly. So, stress really is a very key role in chronic disease development, and especially in type 2 diabetes. Another thing that is linked to type 2 diabetes, and it seems pretty benign, but it's sitting a lot of the time or the majority of the time. And this even goes for people who are very physically active, but for their work, they're sitting down. So for the majority of the day, they're not active. And we've even found that this is linked to type 2 diabetes. So a lot of things are linked to diabetes that we typically don't think about. And these are modifiable things. So, what can we do about all this? We've talked about inflammation, we've talked about toxins, we've talked about stress, we've talked about the cigarettes and sitting. So, what is a person to do to try to modify some of these things and prevent type 2 diabetes? Anti-inflammatory foods are one of the things that is a great way to do this. It is giving your body nutrient dense foods that it needs to work properly. So, omega 3 rich foods, things like salmon, or omega 3 rich nuts like almonds, walnuts, pecans, those are all great ways to get these anti inflammatory compounds into our body to try to break that inflammatory cycle. Things like olive oil, the monounsaturated oils, dark leafy greens, your spinach, your kale, your chard, your collards, your broccoli, all of those things are excellent for your nutrient density and to decrease inflammation in your body. Phytonutrient rich foods like beets and berries, carrots, and squash are also great. There's immune modulating foods like mushrooms. And then there's green teas and herbal teas. That just sounds so good right now. That are very good. And then there are the alliums, the garlics, the onions, the asparagus, those different kinds of foods that are very helpful. And then there's a whole slew of spices that are anti inflammatory, things like turmeric, celery seed, ginger, cinnamon, garlic, cloves, cayenne, black pepper, rosemary, oregano, sage, thyme, holy basil. So there's a lot of different herbs that you can use in addition. And when we talk about anti inflammatory lifestyles, not only is it the foods and the spices, but it is what we do. So there's things that we can do like exercising. Now, this is pretty counterculture. A lot of us think that we don't have time or the energy for exercise. But if we don't take time for self care, eventually our body will let us know that there's a problem with that, and we will have some type of chronic disease like type 2 diabetes. So, exercising is self care. You need to exercise at least 30 minutes every day. It's beneficial in so many ways. It increases your serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain, and it's actually known as one of the best antidepressants on the market. It just makes you feel good. Exercise decreases your risk for cardiovascular disease and over 30%, by over 30%, that's a lot. And it significantly decreases your risk for neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, things like that. With exercise, make sure that you're getting in a cardio and a weight training component. Kettlebell is an excellent way to do both of that and in a very short time. So you don't have to go out and get fancy equipment. You don't have to do any of that. But please make sure that you take at least 30 minutes of your day and exercise. It is self care. This is for your health. Deep breathing exercises are also important. Yoga, meditation, these are all things that will lower inflammation in your body. Meditation has actually also been shown to lengthen the telomeres in your DNA, which are the protective end caps of your DNA. And what it actually equals is like your genetic age. So it's very helpful in that. The, the key is to find something that resonates with you, though. Just because I say, hey, go and do meditation, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You have to find what resonates for you. So these are just some different things that really do decrease inflammation. So we've talked about a lot of different things in this topic. I hope some of this has been new for you. I hope it's been beneficial. It's a very brief overview. If you would like to go deeper in this subject, I am offering a Break Free from Type 2 Diabetes course, and you can sign up for that if you're interested in that. Like I said, this is a very brief overview. If you've liked this, please subscribe to the channel and follow me, and I will give you the latest information, latest research on type 2 diabetes and actionable steps that you can take to manage your type 2 diabetes and break free from it. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.